What is going on, everyone? Welcome into another edition of Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, where I'll be doing my live play-by-play and reactions all season long to college basketball games, and of course, taking you in and through the March Madness tournament coming up in less than 3 weeks from now, and we got a huge game here tonight between two teams inside the SEC as we get going. As the tip-off here will be about 7 to 8 minutes from now. As before the game, I'll go over some of the pregame information between these two squads and SEC action between the number 6 Kentucky Wildcats traveling to the Ole Miss Rebels for this one tonight. But before I get into some of the team information, I'll go over my channel. Feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. It's Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long, and of course, into the March Madness tournament with college basketball games. So right now, I'll go into the pregame action here with some information on both of these teams. We'll look at the away team first, the number 6 Kentucky Wildcats, coming in with a record of 24-5 overall, 13-3 in SEC play. As we look at that SEC standings, they're one game behind from the two top teams who's tied right now, number 5 Tennessee and number 10 LSU. Both of those teams are 14-2 in the SEC, and Kentucky is 13-3 right now with a loss that they suffered at Tennessee back on Saturday. The Wildcats right now are 7-2 on the road this season and 5-3 against the AP Top 25. Their last two games, they beat Arkansas back on February 26th, 70-66. They out-rebounded Arkansas 40-27, and they shot the ball around 50% from the field as Tyler Hero was a star in that game. He had a career-high 29 points. He went 9 for 10 shooting against Arkansas, and then against number 5 Tennessee on Saturday. They got blown out. They were up 6-0 early on, and then Tennessee took the 7-6 lead, and Tennessee never looked back, blew them out 71-52. Very, very poor shooting from Kentucky at around 32% from the field, and P.J. Washington was the only player for the Wildcats. He was the only one who had double-digit points with 13 points scored that game for Kentucky. So I have a week-long of streams here. 3 games this week with SEC action. Tonight, Kentucky against Ole Miss is my first. Tomorrow night, I'm covering LSU, the number 10 team in the nation, as they'll be traveling to take on Florida's right on the bubble. They close out their season against LSU and Kentucky. So 2 big games for Florida. We'll see what happens if they can finally get a W here or there, or if they'll lose both of those as well. So we'll see how the end of the season for the Gators goes, as I'll be covering Kentucky against Florida as well on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But tonight, the Kentucky Wildcats, we look to their key players here in this lineup. Tyler Hero, the shooting guard for the Wildcats, looking to bounce back after he only shot 2 for 11 from the field against Tennessee. He only had 6 points against the Vols on Saturday. The other player that's looking to bounce back from the Tennessee game as well is Kelvin Johnson, as he shot 2 for 9 from the field. He only scored 7 points against Tennessee. Tyler Hero right now is first in all college basketball in free throw shooting percentage. He shoots the ball at 93% from the charity stripe. How about the point guard, Ashton Hagans? He has 9 assists twice this season. Both of those games were against Mississippi State. Ashton Hagans right now ranks 3rd in the SEC in steals per game. As we look to the Kentucky Wildcats, we see what they do well this season. A couple of categories here. They're 3rd in all college basketball in rebound margin per game. They average around 9.5 rebounds more than their opponent. Also, they're 12th right now in total free throws made on the season. They have 514 free throws that they've made this entire season for Kentucky, and they're first right now in the SEC in rebounds per game, as they average around 38.8 rebounds per game. The last time that Kentucky ever lost back-to-back games, you have to go all the way back to last year, February 10th, 2018 against Texas A&M, and then they lost the next one on February 14th of 2018 against Auburn. That's the last time that the Kentucky Wildcats lost back-to-back games. Now, Kentucky, it's going to be tough for them to win that SEC regular season title, but this is the only way that they can. They need to win both of their games starting tonight against Ole Miss, and then Florida, they have to beat them on Saturday. But they also need Tennessee to lose both of their games to Mississippi State and Auburn, since Tennessee right now has the better record than Kentucky, and they need LSU to lose one of the games against Florida or either Vanderbilt, which if LSU beats Florida, there's no way in the world that I can ever see them losing to Vanderbilt, a team that's lost 17 games in a row in the SEC. LSU also hosts Vanderbilt in their final game of the season. Vanderbilt right now they have a record of 0-16 in the conference play in the SEC, a 9-20 record overall this season. So we got through the Kentucky Wildcats stats. I'll go through the Ole Miss Rebels playing at home tonight. 19-10 overall, 9-7 right now in the SEC, 11-4 at home this season. They've lost their past 2 games in a row, but look at these scores. They've had those 2 losses by a combined 3 points in the past 2 games. They lost against number 5 Tennessee, 73-71. That was last Wednesday. Grant Williams had the game-winning basket with 4 seconds left in that one, and then another close one that Ole Miss lost by the slimmest of margins. They lost at Arkansas, 74-73 on Saturday. Jalen Harris had that game-winning layup for the Razorbacks with 6 seconds left in that one. Even though Ole Miss lost by 1 point, they still shot the ball at 54% from the field. And Breein Tyree had the highest points in that game. He had 20 points for the Rebels. We look to those key players for tonight. Breein Tyree is in there for Ole Miss, leading the scoring on the season. He averages over 18 points per game. He's 3rd right now in the SEC in conference points per game. And Breein Tyree is 26-29 double-digit points in games this season. How about Terrence Davis, the point guard for the Ole Miss Rebels, coming in as he leads the team actually in rebounds and assists as well. And also right behind Breein Tyree in points scored per game, averages just above 15 points per game. Terrence Davis, right now, he had a season-high 30 points as he shot 6 for 9 from the field from 3-point range. That was against the Butler Bulldogs back in non-conference play. So both of these teams to compare. Kentucky right now sitting on the number 2 seed in the latest bracketology rankings by CBS, and Ole Miss ranking in at that number 9 seed in the last CBS bracketology rankings right now. Ole Miss started out the season 13-2. They were 3-0 in conference play to start before they lost their first game to LSU. That was back on January 15th. Other than that, Ole Miss was ranked as high as number 18 this season inside that AP Top 25. That was the first time that they've been ranked there since 2013 inside the AP Top 25. And they haven't received an NCAA tournament berth for these Ole Miss Rebels since 2015, as they've only had 4 tournament appearances since the year 2000 for Ole Miss. So we're a couple minutes away here from tip-off. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. What does the Ole Miss Rebels do well? Well, right now they're 1st in the SEC in free throw shooting percentage. They shoot the ball at around 77.5% from the charity stripe this season. That is good for 8th right now in all college basketball and free throw shooting percentage. So we're a couple minutes away here, hopefully, from tip-off. Big game tonight between the Kentucky Wildcats and the Ole Miss Rebels down at Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi. Huge game for Ole Miss, coming back-to-back losses by a combined 3 points, going up against the Kentucky team who lost by 19 on Saturday to Tennessee. We're going to look at the college basketball scoreboard here. Let's see what's going on. We have about 1:05 left to go between Duke and Wake Forest. Number 4 Duke holding on to a very, very slim lead in this one, up 69-66 against Wake Forest right now, as that game was tied throughout most of that game in the past couple minutes, but Duke's pulled out to a 3-point lead. Shockingly, this is a Wake Forest team that hasn't been good all season. They have an 11-17 record, and they're only down by 3 points right now to the number 4 team in the nation. Michigan State ranked 9th in the nation, rolling against Nebraska today as the Spartans won 91-76 against the Cornhuskers. How about this one in overtime? Number 15 Virginia Tech against number 14 Florida State. Both of these teams dead even in the standings, 22-6 for Virginia Tech, 23-6 for Florida State. Both of the teams are 11-5 in ACC conference play. We're all knotted up at 61 in overtime in that game down at Tallahassee. Big win for Buffalo today, number 19 in the nation. They beat Ohio today inside the MAC, 82-79 in that one. And number 3, North Carolina, is on a hot streak right now as they just keep on winning and winning as they're demolishing Boston College, 52-29. That one is at Chestnut Hill at the Conte Forum. A little bit of an upset alert in this game right now. Minnesota is on top against number 11 Purdue, 37-27. The Golden Gophers currently sit on the bubble as we're going to look at that bracketology bubble right now as Minnesota is ranked on the last 4 buys line on the ESPN bubble between North Carolina State, Alabama, and St. John's right now. So that's a huge game for the Golden Gophers. So we're a couple minutes here away from tip-off. Hopefully we'll be able to get to it momentarily. Here says my event's about to stand by, so hopefully we'll be able to get this game going and rolling here between Kentucky and Ole Miss. Some of these games usually start late past the hour, so maybe this is one of them. Right now, I'm going to see if I can refresh this. I don't think there's anything wrong with my stream because I'm usually able to get it pretty quick here. Some of them do start late. I've noticed a couple of my games have started later whenever they open up that stream. But yeah, a bunch of college basketball games going down today, and this is one of them. Huge game inside the SEC for both of these teams. And here we are. So, okay, so we just started the game. And we're here back to action. Okay, so they did get it tipped off, and they started the stream late for some reason. Ole Miss drains the 3 to start it off. So we have 19 and a half remaining in the first. We have got to action. Kentucky now with the ball. Top of the key with it, dribbling towards the left side. E.J. Montgomery. He passes it off to Tyler Hero. Dribbling now at the top of the key. Hero passes the ball to the right side of the perimeter. It's to Kelvin Johnson. Johnson trying to dribble inside with it for Kentucky. Floats up the ball, no good. Tip back up and in, and the score is 3-2. So the stream got going a little bit late. I guess the behind the rim camera here started their stream a little late. They got it up, but we're to action here. Ole Miss is up 3-2 with 18:52 left to go in the first. Ole Miss, top of the key 3, no good. It's wide by Bruce Stevens, rebounded by Kentucky. They take it past the timeline. It's Ashton Hagans, right side of the timeline here for the Wildcats. To the top of the key, passes the ball off, trying to dribble inside for Kentucky. There's a reach and foul called on the play. I'm going to update you guys with the score. So this game just got started here. Kentucky against Ole Miss. As Kentucky will inbound the ball with 18:39 left to go in the first. They're at the left side of the perimeter. This is Ashton Hagans. He passes the ball off. Right wing of the perimeter. Tyler Hero passes the ball back to Hagans. Trying to dribble baseline. Kicks the ball back outside for Kentucky. They're trying to move it around the perimeter. Top of the key 3. Hagans hits it from the outside. And they take the 5-3 lead early in this one for the Kentucky Wildcats off the 3 by Ashton Hagans. Refs must have rolled that. Only a deep 2-pointer. So his foot must have been on the line there for Hagans. Ole Miss with the ball now, dribbling around the perimeter. Right corner 3 from the outside for the Rebels. It gets tipped up in the air, rebounded here by Kentucky. They take it past the timeline. So the last shot by Hagans was only ruled a 2 since his foot was on the line. It looked like a 3 from the camera view. Ole Miss now with the ball off the steal. At the left corner of the perimeter, trying to dribble baseline, and they get fouled on the play right there. That was number 20 for Ole Miss, DC Davis, who tried to dribble inside. And I'll update the score here for you guys right now. So we have 17:40 left to go in the first. Kentucky has the 4-3 lead early in this one. So checking out of the game right now for Ole Miss is DC Davis. So he's the senior from Purvis, Mississippi. He goes out of the game. Ole Miss gets the inbound, and they do get fouled. And they'll go to the line to shoot too. So they're trying to go inside with it underneath the basket with Bruce Stevens. Bruce Stevens will shoot 2 here from the line for the Rebels. On the season, Stevens is an 82% free throw shooter this season. He goes to the line to shoot two with 17:36 left to go in the first. He nails his first. We're tied up at 4 here. Second shot by Stevens. Hits that one as well. Perfect 2 for 2 from the line. Ole Miss takes back the lead 5-4. Kentucky now with the ball. They take it past the left side of the perimeter. Dribbling with it's Ashton Hagans. Hagans now at the top of the key, passes the ball off to P.J. Washington. Goes to the right side of the perimeter. Kelvin Johnson back to Tyler Hero. Feeds the ball inside. Washington moves the ball in there and it goes with a two-handed slam. E.J. Montgomery sends it down. 6-5 lead once again for Kentucky. 17:08 left to go in the first. Ole Miss takes the ball past the timeline. They're passing the ball off top of the key here with Terrence Davis, and it looks like we do have an offensive foul called by the Rebels, and the ball will go back into the hands of the Wildcats here off the inbound. So if you're just joining us, the score is Kentucky 6, Ole Miss 5, and we have 17 minutes and 4 seconds left to go before halftime. Kentucky gets the inbound. Ashton Hagans takes it past the timeline. The ball goes into the hands of P.J. Washington, passes it back to Hagans. Back to Washington at the top of the key, and the ball gets tipped and almost stolen away by Ole Miss, and the ball last touched out of bounds by Kentucky, so the Rebels will get the ball back here on the inbound with 16:50 left to go in the first. So Ole Miss to inbound here. Kentucky's up 6-5 in the early stages of this one. Devontae Schuler takes it past the timeline. He passes the ball off here, top of the key with it. This is Breon Tyree, and the ball goes off his foot, but into his teammate's hand is Blake Hinson. Trying to dribble to the basket. He loses control of it, but it goes back into his teammate's hand, Devontae Schuler. He kicks the ball out, top of the key with Tyree. Takes the three-point shot. No good off the iron. Offensive rebound, and no good on the putback. Hit the front rim short by Devontae Schuler. Rebounded by Kentucky. And the ball stolen by Ole Miss going the other way. 2-on-1 fast break, laying up and in underneath the basket there by the Rebels. Devontae Schuler lays it in with the left hand, taking back the lead. 7-6 here, Ole Miss. Up by 1, Kentucky taking it past the timeline with 16 minutes left to go in the first. They're dribbling towards the top of the key. They pass the ball off right wing of the perimeter. Kelvin Johnson trying to back his way in there, low post, no good. Rebounded by Ole Miss. Ole Miss takes it past the timeline, bursts the speed, and going past the entire defense, up and in, laying it in. Terrence Davis gets it to go with a 9-6 lead for the Rebels. With 15:35 left to go in the first. Kentucky with the ball at the right side of the perimeter. Dribbling with it. They pass the ball to the top of the key. It's E.J. Montgomery. He passes the ball off now. Dribbling towards the free throw circle. Tyler Hero passes it off. P.J. Washington backing his way inside. No good. And it's rebounded by the Rebels. Devontae Schuler grabbed that board. Going the other way, Breon Tyree with it. He takes it past the right side of the timeline. Dribbles to the top of the key and passes the ball off. Three-point shot. Top of the key, no good. Rattled out by Ole Miss. And rebounded here by Kentucky. Wildcats down by 3. Tyler Hero with the ball. Passes it off. Top of the key with Ashton Hagans. Hagans dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter, looking for an open man. Top of the key 3. Montgomery, no good. Rimmed out, rebounded by Ole Miss. 14:45 left to go in the first. We do have a timeout here on the floor. I'm going to update you guys with the score if you haven't done so already. Feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long throughout the end of the season. And, of course, don't miss out on the March Madness tournament, as we're getting going past the midway point through this month. March 21st and 22nd is when I'll be having the action starting up for that March Madness tournament. The Thursday and Friday games starting it off and bringing you all the way through April 8th with a national championship. So don't miss a beat here throughout the remainder of the season on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Gonna update you guys with the score. This one will go through the box score here in the early stages of this one between Kentucky and Ole Miss. But right now, Kentucky down by 3 against the Rebels. This game just got started. Right now, I'm just going to go over some of the box score stats. We'll look to see what's going on in college basketball as well. So I'm bringing up the box score stats here. This is who we have for leading scores. Kentucky has 3 players with 2 points right now. A little bit of foul trouble, same as the game against Tennessee. There were a couple of Kentucky players who were in pretty serious foul trouble in the early stages of that game. Here we are again with E.J. Montgomery already committing 2 fouls, and we're not even 6 minutes through the first part of this game right here. So he has 2 points for E.J. Montgomery. He has 2 fouls committed. Ashton Hagans with 2 points, and Kelvin Johnson chipping in 2 points right now for the Wildcats. As we look to Ole Miss, the leading scores right now, 5 points leading the way for Ole Miss would be Terrence Davis, and then as we see, it looks like Bruce Stevens is in there with 2 points as well, and then Devontae Schuler off the bench today has 2 points as well. So we're almost back to action here. The score is Ole Miss 9, Kentucky 6. If you haven't done so already, feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long to college basketball games. So, wow, close one between Duke and Wake Forest today. Number 4, Duke, winning by the slimmest of margins, 71-70 against Wake Forest earlier today. So hopefully we're going to get back to action very soon between Kentucky and Ole Miss here. We're on a TV timeout right now with 14:46 left to go in the first. Currently, after the timeout was taken on the court. Yeah, big games in college basketball going on tonight. Minnesota has the lead against Purdue right now. The Golden Gophers currently sit on the bubble right now, along with a group of teams this season. Texas and TCU are there as well. Oklahoma on the bubble. Florida is a little bit more above the bubble, but they have 2 big games coming up. Tomorrow, I'll have the stream for you guys against LSU, and then they have another game closing out the season against Kentucky for the Florida Gators. We're back to action here. Ole Miss with the ball off the inbound with 14:35 left to go. Top of the key here for Ole Miss, passing it to the right wing of the perimeter. This is KJ Buffin with the ball, passes it, top of the key 3, sinks it from the outside. Terrence Davis gets it to go, and Ole Miss is up 12-6. Kentucky now with the ball with 14:20 left to go in the first. And there's a foul called on the play on what appears to be a reach-in foul by Ole Miss. So Kentucky will get the ball here back on the inbound with 14:20 left to go in the first. Kentucky inbounds it. The ball into the hands of Emmanuel Quickly. Takes it past the left side of the timeline for Kentucky. Passes the ball off to P.J. Washington. He passes it off to Quickly. Top of the key here. Passes left side of the perimeter. Back to the right side. Right corner 3. Tyler Hero hits it from the outside. Tyler Hero was the hero against Arkansas. He scored 29 points, a career high. 9 for 10 shooting in that game back on February 26th. Here we are again. He hit that 3-pointer, cuts the Ole Miss lead to 3, 12-9 right now. Rebels up by 3 with 13:45 left to go in the first. Ole Miss dribbling with the ball, right corner of the perimeter to the right side of the perimeter. Devontae Schuler dribbling towards the left side of the perimeter, kicks the ball back out, trying to dribble, baseline in there, laying it up and in. Goes into the bucket by KJ Buffin of Ole Miss. 14-9 Rebels are up against the Wildcats with 13:26 left to go in the first. Kentucky now with the ball, left side of the perimeter. Kelvin Johnson with it, passes it off to Tyler Hero, trying to back his way inside the low post is P.J. Washington. Passes inside, kicks the ball back outside, takes the 3-point shot, hits it from the outside. Top of the key goes down for the 3 by Emmanuel Quickly. Cuts the Rebel lead to 2. 14-12 right now. Ole Miss with a 2-point lead with 13 minutes left to go in the first. Passing the ball around the perimeter for Ole Miss, and looks like there's a little bit of a timeout here on the floor on the play. Looks like we have a foul involved. Looks like Kentucky gets charged with a defensive foul there. So Ole Miss will get the ball back on the inbound momentarily. Going to update the score for you guys with the game. 14 to 12. Ole Miss is up, and the three-point shot from the corner perimeter, no good, but Ole Miss gets fouled with 12:56 left to go in the first. And I believe that nope, the refs won't say the refs aren't saying it's 3 points. They're saying it's only 2. His foot was on the line, so only two free throws coming up for Ole Miss. So here we are at the line. Number 4, Breon Tyree, shooting 2 from the charity stripe. Ole Miss is up 14 to 12. Make it 15. Tyree hits his first. The Rebels do check out a couple players from the game, as it looks like Dominic Olejniczak just checked out of the game. Second shot goes down. Right there by Breon Tyree. Perfect from the line that time. 16 to 12. Ole Miss up by 4. Kentucky now with the ball, dribbling towards the left side of the perimeter for the Wildcats. This is Emmanuel quickly. Passes it out to Tyler Hero. Hero now trying to take it inside. Kicks the ball back outside. Right wing 3 from the perimeter. No good by Kelvin Johnson. And a foul called on the play. And it's on Kentucky as they try to rebound that ball from Ole Miss underneath their own basket. And Ole Miss here will get the inbound back with 12:36 left to go in the first. So the Rebels here will get the inbound pass. They're up by 4. 16 to 12. And they put the ball into the hands of Devontae Scholler. Scholler takes the ball past the timeline, guarded by Kelvin Johnson. Passes the ball off here at the top of the key to DC Davis. Passes it down low and is stolen away by Kentucky. Tyler Hero with a steal. Takes it back past the timeline. Kicks the ball back outside. Emmanuel quickly trying to dribble inside. He passes the ball back outside. Hero with the ball now at the top of the key behind the perimeter. Hero. Top of the key 3, takes it, hits it from the outside. 1 point game now, 16 to 15. Tyler Hero hitting shots from the field in this one. And again, that looked like a 3-pointer, and the refs are saying his foot was on the line again. So 16 to 14, the score is. They say it's a deep 2 right there. Tyler Hero's foot was on the line. We've had about 3 of those shots so far. Ole Miss driving to the bucket, up and in right there, and it goes down by DC Davis. 18 to 14. Ole Miss up by 4. Kentucky now trying to dribble baseline to the basket. They put it right there, up and in into the bucket, and the foul was called. So Kelvin Johnson got it to go on that last play, trying to dribble baseline, going to the basket for Kentucky. We got ourselves a 2-point game here. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long to college basketball games, so stay in the know here throughout the end of this season. And, of course, the March Madness tournament on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So, yeah, pretty good game so far between both of these teams. Back and forth, back and forth. That's the type of games that Ole Miss has been playing the past 2 games. They've lost heartbreakers in both of those against Tennessee. Last Wednesday, Grant Williams had that game-winning basket with 4 seconds left, beating the Rebels 73 to 71. And, of course, the heartbreaker at Arkansas on Saturday, they lost 74-73 with Jalen Harris hitting the game-winning layup for Arkansas with about 6 seconds left to go in that game. And Ole Miss shot the ball from the field really, really well in that game. Shot the ball at 54%, but still it wasn't enough to beat Arkansas on Saturday. Here we are again with both of these teams shooting the ball fantastic from the floor. Complete 360 for Kentucky on how they shot the ball against Tennessee and how they've rebounded early in this one, as they shot the ball at around 32% from the field against Tennessee. I believe that was a season low shooting against Tennessee, but right now Kentucky shooting at 50% from the floor. In this one, we're on a TV timeout right now, as they're shooting 7 for 14 from the field. Ole Miss matching that, 6 for 12 from the field at 50% right now. So we're on the TV timeout between Ole Miss and Kentucky. We're going to get back to action pretty shortly here in this one. But let's see the box score as we look into it right now for the Kentucky Wildcats. Their leading scorer happens to be Tyler Hero, who has 5 points right now. He did hit a 3-point shot, and the other shot he hit should have been a 3-point shot, but his foot was right on the line, so they rolled it a deep 2 right there. So he has 5 points currently for the Kentucky Wildcats, leading the way. And for Ole Miss, it looks like their leading scorer is Terrence Davis, who has 8 points right now for the Ole Miss Rebels in this game. So we're going to get back to action really shortly between Kentucky and Ole Miss as they're on the TV timeout right now, hoping to get back to action within the next few seconds here in this one. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long. The college basketball games finishing out this season. And, of course, the March Madness tournament starting out. That's on Thursday, March 21st, Friday, March 22nd. Those are the first round games in the round of 64 after all those playing games are done. So here we are, back to action here. Kentucky at the line, and they hit it. As they hit that shot in the 1-and-1 at the line, we do have a 1-point game here. Ole Miss 18, Kentucky 17. Ole Miss will get the inbound. As they do, the ball goes into the hands here of Devontae Scholler. Takes it past the timeline, passes it at the right wing of the perimeter here for the Rebels. Now they're trying to take it inside. Ole Miss with the ball inside. Bruce Stevens, he kicks the ball back outside. Left wing three, no good from the outside by KJ Buffin. Rebounded here by Kentucky. They're down by 1. They take it past the right side of the timeline. That's Emmanuel Quickly. Quickly now, dribbling, he passes the ball off. They're trying to beat it inside. No good. Shot rattles out by Nick Richards. Offensive rebound, though, by Kentucky. And the 3-point shot from the outside is no good. Rebounded by Ole Miss. So Ole Miss here takes it past the timeline. Terrence Davis, top of the key 3, no good. It hits the top of the rim with 10:44 left to go in the first. We do have a foul on the play committed by Kentucky. So it looks like Ole Miss will shoot 2 here from the line. So this is Terrence Davis at the free throw line. He'll get 3 shots. He was fouled from behind the arc, and he hits his first one. So Ole Miss is up by 2 right now. Terrence Davis has to take 3 shots at the line. He just hit his first. Second shot, and nothing but net on that one as well. Connects on 2 of 2, and we'll see what can go down on this third. He's a 76% free throw shooter this season and hits them all. Terrence Davis, a perfect 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. And that time around, Ole Miss builds up their lead to 4. Just updated the score, 21-17. Kentucky down by 4. Passing around the perimeter now. E.J. Montgomery puts the ball into the hands here of Jamerl Baker Jr. off the bench here for the Wildcats. Baseline, deep 2 from the left side, no good by Kentucky, and the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Wildcats, and Ole Miss will get the ball here back on the inbound. So a rare turnover there for Kentucky. They couldn't save the ball before it went out of bounds. They had somebody who was right there to rebound the ball, and they couldn't get it into their hands. They tapped it out of bounds. So here we are. Ole Miss gets the ball on the inbound. They take it past the timeline. Devontae Scholler passes the ball off top of the key. Lob pass over the top. They were trying to go for the alley-oop lob over the top in the slam dunk, and the ball just went too wide over the head of Terrence Davis and out of bounds. So Kentucky will get it back here on the inbound. The Wildcats still down by 4. 10:06 left to go in the first. They take it past the timeline. Ashton Hagans passes the ball off, and now it goes to the top of the key into the hands of Emmanuel Quickly. Passes it off. Lots of passing around the perimeter, right side of the perimeter, trying to dribble baseline. Floats up the shot. Up and in by Jamerl Baker Jr. and puts this game at a 2-point game. 21-19, Ole Miss up by 2 with 9:45 left to go in the first. They take it past the timeline with Devontae Scholler here for the Rebels. He passes the ball off left wing of the perimeter. Brian Tyree passes it off to KJ Buffin. He passes it off to Terrence Davis, trying to take it down low. He's at the right elbow now, and he kicks the ball back outside. Tyree now trying to dribble past defenders, and too strong with a layup. No good off the glass, rebounded by Kentucky. Kentucky with numbers in transition. The Wildcats floating it up over the top, but Wow. So yeah. So the bucket does count right there. So I thought for a minute it was an offensive foul by Kentucky, but the bucket does count as Kelvin Johnson was dribbling baseline, floats it up over the top, dribbling baseline, and he gets it to count, and he's fouled as well. So Kelvin Johnson ties this game up at 21 for Kentucky, and he'll go to the line for one. So we have 9:19 left to go in a tie game here at 21. I'm going to update the score here in the chat. Kelvin Johnson on the season, a 72% free throw shooter. He's averaging about 13.4 points per game coming into this contest, and he'll be shooting one at the line here as he just got the basket good to go for 2 points. Lots of boos from the crowd by Ole Miss after the refs rolled that a defensive foul by Ole Miss, and the bucket did count. So the shot from the line, no good, off the front part of the iron by Kelvin Johnson. We're still tied up here at 21. Ole Miss with the ball. They take it past the timeline. DC Davis with it. He passes the ball left wing of the perimeter. Brian Tyree, he passes it now. Right wing of the perimeter to DC Davis. Now to the top of the key, Terrence Davis. Hey, they turn the ball over down inside the low post. Kentucky now with numbers. And Tyler Hero taking it to the bucket, up and in. Inside the lane there. He floats the shot over the top. Kentucky now with a 2-point lead with 8:53 left to go, leading to a timeout call by Kermit Davis, the head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels. So good game here in the early stages of this one. 23-21, Kentucky now with a 2-point lead as Ole Miss had the lead throughout most of the early stages of this game. But here we are taking back the lead, the Kentucky Wildcats. So right now we're on a TV timeout. I'm going to update you guys with the box score of what's going on in this game. We'll look at some of the team stats as well. So the leading scores right now for the Kentucky Wildcats, it looks like 2 players are tied with 7 points right now. Tyler Hero with 7, and Kelvin Johnson also with 7 points at this stage of the game, leading the way for the Kentucky Wildcats. As we look to the Ole Miss Rebels right now, it looks like Terrence Davis has ran off with this game with a point scored. He has 11 points right now for Ole Miss. The surprise factor here has been Brian Tyree. Coming into the game, the leading scorer, third in the SEC in points scored per game. He's averaging just above 18 points per game. But right now, Brian Tyree has only scored 2 points in this contest so far for Ole Miss. So here we are, back to action after that timeout called by Kermit Davis. Kentucky now with the ball off the inbound. At the right side of the perimeter, Ashton Hagans kicks the ball all the way to the left side of the court. Now they're trying to dribble into the lane, laying it up and in by Kelvin Johnson, adding 9 points tonight, 25-21, 4-point lead for Kentucky with 8:05 left to go in the first. Ole Miss with the ball, dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter. They pass the ball to the top of the key here. Now they're at the right elbow, trying to do a spin move inside, and a wild shot. No good by Terrence Davis, but he gets fouled on the play, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 here after the timeout on the court with 7:58 left to go in the first. Kentucky 25, Ole Miss 21. Good game here between both of these teams. Early stages. Gonna update you guys with the score here in the chat. If you haven't done so already, feel free to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long, taking you through the March Madness tournament as well. Less than 3 weeks away from that happening. March 21st, March 22nd. First round games, I've got you covered all the way through April 8th with the national title game. So here we are. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So right now we're on that TV timeout. I'm going to look at the team stats here since we're on this TV timeout. Kentucky still shooting the ball really, really well from the floor today. Complete 360 from their game against Tennessee. They're shooting at 52.4% right now from the floor. Ole Miss right now shooting 40% from the field. As we look at some of the other shooting statistics, here from the free throw line. Ole Miss is perfect. They're 7 for 7 right now shooting from the charity stripe, as we see. And that's one of the things that Ole Miss has been doing so well this season. They're currently ranked first in the SEC in free throw shooting percentage, coming into this game shooting the ball at 77.5% from the free throw line. That is good for 8th right now in all college basketball in free throw shooting percentage. The rebounding right now going to both of the teams is an even deadlock at 10 apiece in the rebounding game at this stage. And Kentucky in a little bit of foul trouble once again. They were in quite that trouble against Tennessee, and right now they've already committed 8 fouls in this game. PJ Washington, who is their leading scorer on the season, has committed 2 fouls so far in this one for the Wildcats. So that'll be a stat to look at once we get later into the game, and we'll see how that plays out, factoring in towards the end of the game on who to sit, who to put on the bench, who to have on the court when we get later into the game, and if they keep on picking up more fouls. But yeah, there's quite a bit of players here that have quite a bit of fouls for Kentucky in the early stages of this game, and we're not even 13 minutes into this one, as Jamerl Baker Jr.'s 2 fouls off the bench for the Wildcats. 1 foul by Tyler Hero, same as Ashton Hagans with 1, and E.J. Montgomery with 1. P.J. Washington is the one in trouble with 2 fouls right now. So I'm gonna update you guys on some of the scores in college basketball here. So there was a game that went into overtime. Number 14 Florida State came out victorious at home in Tallahassee against number 15 Virginia Tech. Florida State ran away with it in overtime, outscoring Virginia Tech 12 to 3, as Florida State won that game 73 to 64. And right now, close one between Minnesota and Purdue, 56-54. Minnesota up by 2. Ole Miss at the free throw line after they got fouled, and they hit their first shot from the line. This is Terrence Davis. He's a 76% free throw shooter on the season, and hits his second one as well. So the score is Kentucky 25, Ole Miss 23. Kentucky now with the ball. They pass the timeline. Left side of the perimeter, Kelvin Johnson. He passes the ball off right wing of the perimeter. Ashton Hagans in the jumper taken inside at the right elbow. Up and in by Tyler Hero. 27-23. Kentucky back to the 4-point lead with 7:35 left to go in the first. Ole Miss now with the ball. They take it past the timeline. It's Breon Tyree dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter, trying to go inside. And what a block, and the ball goes out of bounds. Huge block by the Wildcats. Number 4, Nick Richards, the sophomore from Kingston, Jamaica, soaring to the sky right there and deflecting that ball out of bounds. That's a huge block right there for Kentucky. Ole Miss with an inbound, tipped up in the air. We do have a foul called with 7:27 left to go. Players hit the floor hard right there. As, yeah, that was Blake Hinson of Ole Miss who hit the floor hard, and the foul was on Ole Miss trying to inbound the ball. Blake Hinson right there, and the ball was tipped up in the air by Kentucky. Hinson hit the ground hard, and it looks like he got charged with a foul. So Kentucky now will go to the line here with Kelvin Johnson, as the Wildcats are up by 4. And first shot from the line, no good. Rebounded by Ole Miss. So the Rebels now with the ball with 7:20 left to go in the first. They take it past the left side of the timeline. Ole Miss jumper, free throw circle, hits it. Right there on the shot, Breon Tyree getting it to go for Ole Miss. 27-25, Kentucky now up by 2, dribbling around the perimeter. They pass the ball off to the left corner of the perimeter, and it's tipped out of bounds by Ole Miss. One of the Ole Miss players tried to save it before it went out of bounds. That was Terrence Davis who tipped it out. He tried to save it as well. He went into the cheerleading section there of the Ole Miss cheerleaders along the baseline. So Kentucky here with the inbound with 7 minutes remaining. The ball goes into the hands of Emmanuel Quickly at the top of the key. Hands the ball off here, as that's into the hands of Ashton Hagans. Passes it to Hero. Quickly back to Hagans, and now trying to dribble inside. Kelvin Johnson puts up the shot up and in off the glass, and it's good by Kelvin. 29-25, Kentucky with a 4-point lead. Ole Miss now takes it past the timeline. It's Devontae Shuler. He puts the ball into the hands of Terrence Davis. Now he's dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter here for the Rebels. And that ball is tipped, deflected, stolen away by Kentucky. Going in transition now for the Wildcats. Hero kicks the ball back outside. They're trying to float up the shot inside. No good, but the putback. Jam with authority. Off the missed shot by Kelvin Johnson, his teammates there, Nick Richards, and he one-hand jams it down with a putback. 31-25, Kentucky with a lead. Stolen ball by Kentucky, and takes it all the way to the rim. Slamma jamma with that one too. Kelvin Johnson off the steal all alone puts it home. And Kentucky on quite a bit of a roll here on the road. 33-25, timeout taken again by Kermit Davis. What a game in the early stages of this one. I'm going to update you guys with the score here in the chat. Feel free to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long to college basketball games, so stay in the know here with Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So I just updated the chat here with the score. Kentucky's up 33-25 with 6:03 left to go right now against Ole Miss. So let's see what's going on right now as we look at the leading scorers in this game. Kelvin Johnson leading the way for the Kentucky Wildcats. He has 13 points right now for Kentucky. And then Tyler Hero adding in 9 points right now for the Wildcats. Other key contributors, other than that, is just 3 points here, 2 points there for Kentucky. Let's see for Ole Miss, their leading scorers. Terrence Davis leading this team by far with a lot of points. 13 points right now as he's doubling basically the second player highest on the team behind him, scoring. Breein Tyree right now with 6 points for the Rebels. So here we are back to action in this one, and didn't take too long for Ole Miss to get back-to-back buckets off that quick timeout. So it's 33-29 right now. Ole Miss getting back-to-back buckets. Kentucky now with the ball. They take it past the timeline, dribbling towards the left side of the timeline. They put the ball into the hands here of Higgins. Higgins passes it right wing of the perimeter. It's to Emmanuel quickly, dribbling towards the top of the key here. The Wildcats trying to dribble inside, kicks the ball back outside, and they floated up top. No good on the shot by Kelvin Johnson. But again, Kelvin Johnson will be shooting once again at the free throw line. I'm going to update you guys with the score once again, 33-29. We have 5 minutes left to go. First shot, and he sinks it by Kelvin right there from the line. So Kelvin Johnson on the season shooting the ball at 72% from the free throw line. Kentucky now has the 34-29 lead. Kelvin Johnson and hits that one. Yeah, that one with above the rim camera. Looks like it went through, but it didn't. So off the top of the rim right there as the camera moved, and it's a rebound by Ole Miss, and it looks like an Ole Miss player's down. Just updated the score here for you guys. It's 34-29 Ole Miss. Down by 5, and the Rebels with an injured player on the court right now. As it looks like this is not good. That's Breein Tyree. Breein Tyree on the season coming into this game, 3rd in points scored per game inside the SEC. It looks like it's something with his, maybe like his left knee here. But he did get up, so that's a good sign. And he's walking to the free throw line and to shoot his free throw. So Kentucky gets charged with the foul. That last play, Breein Tyree to shoot some free throws. First shot from the line, and the 1-and-1 hits it by Breein Tyree. He'll go back to the line for a second. The score right now, Kentucky's up 34-30 with 4:47 left to go in the first. Breein Tyree hit his first shot at the free throw line just moments ago. Here we are with his second attempt here at the free throw line at this time around, and he hits it. 34-31. Kentucky up by 3 to get the inbound. with 4:43 left to go in the first. The ball going past the timeline here. They're passing at the right side of the perimeter. Tyler Hero puts the ball into the hands of Kelvin Johnson. He's seen a lot of the free throw line at the key. Kicks the ball back outside, trying to dribble baseline and floats up the shot. No good by Kentucky. Rebounded here by Ole Miss, taken past the timeline. Breein Tyree puts it into the hands, and a three ball goes down from the outside. Devontae Schuller knocking it down. We're tied up at 34. Kentucky now with the ball, right side of the perimeter. Ashton Hagans to the top of the key, dribbling out, passing around the left side of the perimeter. Kelvin Johnson trying to back his way in there. Low post, floats up the shot, rattles out. And we have an offensive foul there by Kentucky. Kelvin Johnson trying to back his way in there on a push-off on the play, so it'll be a turnover. Going back to Ole Miss with 4:06 left to go in the first. So we're tied up at 34 here. The Rebels trying to see if they can take the lead right back with 4 minutes left to go before the half. They pass the ball into the hands here of Breein Tyree. It goes to the right side of the perimeter. It's the DC Davis. Now they're passing towards the left side of the perimeter here. Breein Tyree dribbling towards the top of the key. He's guarded by Hagans. Tyree trying to take it inside. Step back deep. Two from the left elbow. No good. Ripped away by Kelvin Johnson on the rebound. Kentucky takes it past the timeline. Ashton Hagans with the ball now. Dribbling towards the left side of the perimeter. Puts it into the hands of Tyler Hero. Top of the key. Passes the ball back to Johnson and back to Hero. Still at the top of the key with 3:22 left to go in the first. He puts the ball into the hands of Hagans. Hagans at the right elbow. Looking for somebody who's open with 7 on the shot clock. And now it's into the hands of Kelvin Johnson. Putting his way inside. Takes the shot. No good. Off the glass. Rebounded by Ole Miss. Burst the speed past defenders. Laying it up and into the basket right there. Terrence Davis takes the Rebels out in front as he gets that shot on the layup to go. 36-34. Ole Miss back in front with a lead with 2:52 left to go in the first. What a game here before halftime between both of these teams, Ole Miss and Kentucky right now. We got a tie game. As that shot was hit down, Tyler Hero got that shot to fall. 36-36 right now. 2.5 left to go in the first. Ole Miss with a ball almost stolen by Hero as he hit the last shot. Had some movement with a camera that we weren't able to see the basket by Tyler Hero, and Ole Miss did shoot a three-pointer. Kentucky just tried to chase the ball down and got tipped out of bounds by the Wildcats. So we got a TV timeout here on the court. What a great game. We're tied up at 36. 2:18 left to go in the first. Kentucky 36, Ole Miss 36. Going to update you guys with a chat. If you haven't done so already, you're welcome to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be closing out the season here with Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube and taking you through the March Madness tournament, starting off the round of 64, March 21st, March 22nd, and all the way through April 8th to the National Championship. Don't miss a beat with my channel. Like my videos, share, and subscribe. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So right now we're on the commercial break. We're going to look to the box score here. Look at the leading scores right now in this game since we're on that commercial break. Tied up at 36 between Kentucky and Ole Miss right now. When we do get back to action, we'll have 2:18 left to go before halftime. Leading the scoring right now for the Kentucky Wildcats is Kelvin Johnson. He has 14 points right now. He's seen the free throw line quite a bit. Shooting the ball 2 for 5 right now from the charity stripe for Kelvin. Right behind him in the scoring, Tyler Hero with 11 points right now for the Kentucky Wildcats, coming off that huge game a week ago against Arkansas where he scored a career 29 points. He went 9 for 10 shooting in that game as Kentucky beat Arkansas 70-66 in that one. As we look to Ole Miss right now, leading the scoring is Terrence Davis. He has 15 points right now for the Rebels. And it's not even close who the second guy is right behind them. That's Breein Tyree, though, with only 8 points right now for Tyree. Coming into the game as the leading scorer, averaging 18.3 points per game, but Tyree only has 8 so far in this one. So right now we look to the shooting percentages, and Kentucky shooting the ball a ton better than they did on the floor against Tennessee on Saturday, as Kentucky is shooting the ball at 55% right now at this moment from the field. Ole Miss shooting at 47% from the field as well. And Ole Miss actually out-rebounding Kentucky 16-12 at this stage of the game. So if you haven't done so already, you're welcome to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long at the end of this season. And, of course, the March Madness tournament, getting you guys going for that, as we're now almost getting ready for the March Madness tournament. Those bubble teams trying to gear it up. And we'll see who gets into the tournament and who's left into the NIT. We have some big games coming up, and it looks like bubble teams trying to make a statement tonight here. Minnesota is up at home against Purdue currently 64-55. The Golden Gophers have the lead against the Boilermakers with 3:45 left to go before the end of that game. So right now, Minnesota trying to make a statement even with a losing record inside the Big Ten. Here we are back to action. Kentucky and Ole Miss with 2:18 left to go in the first. The Rebels here will get the inbound when we go back to action. Devontae Schuler lobs the ball over the top, and now at the three-point line with at the top of the key, Zach Naylor for Ole Miss. Ole Miss now with the ball and dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter. They put that ball into the hands of Brian Tyree. Pass the ball around the left side of the perimeter. It's to Devontae Schuler. Schuler now top of the key with 11 on the shot clock. Passes the ball off left side of the perimeter here for the Rebels. Rebels dribbling with it. Brian Tyree takes the three-point shot and hits it from the outside as he gets it to go. Ole Miss now with a 39-36 lead with 1:40 left to go in the first. Emmanuel quickly takes it past the timeline. The ball goes into the hands of Tyler Hero. He passes it off. Now at the top of the key with it. This is Emmanuel quickly as he passes it back to Hero, left side of the perimeter. Hero dribbling with the ball with 6 on the shot clock. Hero trying to take it inside. Floats it over the top, up and in inside the key by Tyler Hero. 1-point lead by the Rebels. 39-38 with 1:12 left to go before the half. Ole Miss takes the ball past the timeline, left side of the perimeter. Now they're to the top of the key here. Trying to dribble inside, and we do have a foul call with 1:04 left to go. The foul committed by the Wildcats on the play. I'm going to update you guys with a score here in the chat. Very, very close game. It's been like this throughout the whole time, and you can ask Ole Miss about playing close games anyway. They've lost 2 heartbreakers. Right now, the score is 39-38. First shot from the line by Ole Miss, and it's a miss. So I just updated the score with the latest and what's going on here. 39-38, and both of the shots were misses from the free throw line by Ole Miss. So Kentucky gets the rebound here. Now they're at the top of the key with the ball. Tyler Hero passing it off to Quickly here at the top of the key for the Wildcats. Takes the ball out towards the Ole Miss logo, towards the right corner of the perimeter. He passed the ball off. Trying to dribble inside now. And that's a turnover there by Kentucky inside the key. So the Wildcats try to get the ball underneath, and the ball just goes out of bounds. So the Rebels will get it back up by 1 with 32 seconds left before halftime. The Rebels with the ball. They pass the ball left wing in the perimeter. It goes into the hands of Zach Naylor, top of the key. He passes the ball off. It goes into the hands of Brian Tyree. Tyree here. He's guarded by Emmanuel Quickly with 16 seconds left. Tyree trying to dribble inside, and that ball is kicked out of bounds with 12.2 seconds remaining. Kentucky did kick the ball out of bounds. So it looks like Ole Miss will get the ball back here in the inbound with 12.2 seconds remaining before the half. 6 seconds before that shot clock expires. They inbound it. They're trying to dribble inside. Jumper in the key, up and in. as that shot goes down by Terrence Davis. But there was, there's a push-off right there. Wow. So the shot did go into the bucket, but the refs say that Terrence Davis pushed off. So they'll call it an offensive foul by Ole Miss. Erase the points, and we're still at 39-38. Kentucky with the ball now. Top of the key with it right before the half. 3 seconds remaining. Trying to lay it in, and he's rejected at the buzzer, and that is it. We're at halftime. As Kelvin Johnson tried to take that one inside, he got rejected at the buzzer. So good update you guys with the chat here. With the score. 39 Ole Miss, 38 Kentucky. We're at halftime in this game right now. Wow, what a game to start it off. So we're currently at halftime, 39-38. Ole Miss taking the 1-point lead at the half. If you haven't done so already, you're welcome to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long to college basketball games, and of course, keeping you in and through the March Madness tournament with Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. We'll look at some of these team stats here since we're at the half. Really, really close game throughout here, as Kentucky is shooting the ball at around 55% from the field right now. A total difference comparing to when they shot the ball in their last game against Tennessee. Kentucky only shot the ball at 32% from the field, but much improved today, shooting at 55% from the field. Ole Miss shooting the ball really well once again at 50% from the field in the first half. As we look to three-point shooting, Ole Miss right now 4 for 11 shooting from the field from behind the arc. Kentucky right now 2 for 5 in three-point shooting. What else we got going on right now? The Rebels out-rebounding the Wildcats 17-13 so far in this game. And a little bit of foul trouble for Kentucky. They committed 11 fouls in that first half. 9 fouls committed by Ole Miss. As we look to those leading scores at halftime right now, Kentucky leading the way is Kelvin Johnson with 14 points right now for the Wildcats. 13 points chipping in by Tyler Hero. As we look to the Ole Miss Rebels leading the way, Terrence Davis doing a great job tonight. 15 points right now, 6 rebounds, leading both of those categories currently for the Ole Miss Rebels. Right behind them, Brian Tyree is in second right now in point score, but it's quite a distance between 15 scored by Terrence Davis and 8 points scored by Brian Tyree right now, currently second on the team for the Ole Miss Rebels. So we look to the standings right now inside the SEC. We see that Kentucky is a game behind LSU and Tennessee at the top. So number 5 Tennessee, number 10 LSU. Both of those teams are 14-2 in SEC play. Kentucky is right now 13-3, a game behind. The only way that Kentucky will be able to win the SEC regular season titles, if all this stuff happens, is that Kentucky has to beat Ole Miss tonight. That has to be a priority for them. And they also have to beat Florida on Saturday, the 2 p.m. Eastern time game. I'll be doing that one as well. I believe that game's on CBS. But what else Kentucky needs to happen is that they need Tennessee to lose both of their games to close out the season against Mississippi State and Auburn. I'm going to do an update here on Tennessee. It looks like they're up at halftime against Mississippi State right now, 31-25. So they're up by 6 at the half. And also, it would look like Kentucky would need LSU to lose at least one game there, one game out of the 2, in order to bypass LSU, which LSU plays Florida next, which is tomorrow night. I'll be having the stream of that one, LSU against Florida. And then the other game, that one, don't bet on it, basically, because LSU in their last game, they take on Vanderbilt at home, and Vandy has a 17-game losing streak right now, and they're winless in the SEC. So the best chance to knock off LSU would be the Florida Gators in tomorrow's game. So Kentucky would need a bunch of stuff to happen in order to win the regular season title right now. But we're going to look at the halftime box scores here of all these games. The number 4 Duke Blue Devils, wow, they won by the slimmest of margins in this one. R.J. Barrett adding in 28 points tonight for Duke, beating Wake Forest in a scare at Cameron Indoor Stadium, 71-70 in that game without Zion. Wow. Very, very close game against a very weak Wake Forest team this season, as I think Wake Forest has like a record of 11 and 18 overall. They almost beat Duke. Wake Forest was up throughout like the majority of that game. For other games right now, number 9 Michigan State beat Nebraska today 91-76. Kenny Goins leading the way, 24 points, 8 rebounds on the night for the Michigan State Spartans. So after the loss against Indiana, Michigan State back to cruising once again, trying to get back on that winning streak. This game went into overtime. Both of these teams look deadlocked even inside the standings. That's why they're 15-14 inside the AP Top 25. Number 15, Virginia Tech taking on number 14, Florida State, as Florida State went victorious today inside overtime. They went and played 9-point victors in that one for the Seminoles, took them to overtime to outscore the Hokies 12-3, but they did it. Florida State wins 73-64. As for other games inside the top 25, number 19 Buffalo inside the MAC expands their record to 27-3 overall. They beat Ohio today 82-79, closer game than most people suspected there. North Carolina with a big win against Boston College, 79-66. Cameron Johnson with another stellar game for UNC, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists added in today. And what other games we had? This one is about 13 seconds left in this game. And Minnesota currently on the bubble has a 5-point lead against Purdue, 70-65 with 13 seconds left to go in that game. And right now we'll look at that bubble as Minnesota is part of the last 4 buys teams with North Carolina State, Alabama, and St. John's in there. Minnesota having a huge game tonight, up by 5 with 13 seconds remaining against Purdue. As we look at that line right now, I'm going to see what Minnesota is ranked on the line on the bubble. Since we're on halftime right here, Kentucky against Ole Miss. Minnesota is currently a number 11 seed. They're projected to play right now. They would play another SEC team in Mississippi State right now on the 6th line, currently in the latest ESPN bracketology. As far as the bubble for the SEC, we'll look to that SEC standings. Alabama is right now the team in the bubble currently. They have a record of 17-12 overall, 8-8 in SEC play. Don't forget about the Florida Gators as well. 17-12 overall, 9-7 in SEC play. They have 2 games to close out the season. It'll be difficult to get into the tournament if they cannot close those games against LSU and Kentucky to finish up the season. But if they do beat one of them, it's a good chance that the Gators are in the tournament in the next few weeks. So right now we're on halftime currently between Kentucky and Ole Miss. Close game, 39-38. As we look at other games going on at the half, Tennessee up against Mississippi State, 31-25. And number 13, Kansas, has been struggling constantly in away games throughout the season as they barely beat Oklahoma State on Saturday at Stillwater, as Kansas improved to 3-7 on the road overall this season, but they're having a lot of difficulty against one of those bubble teams as well, the Oklahoma Sooners, currently 18-11 overall, 6-10 in Big 12 play, and right now Oklahoma beating Kansas at the half, 41-28. So Kansas has struggled a lot. Hey, thank you so much, man. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get more people throughout the end of the game. What usually happens is that a lot more people usually tune into the last 5 minutes of the game or so, and this is one of the games. This is a great game so far, close game. Hopefully it stays a close game throughout, but yeah, there's been a bunch of games right now that's been close. surprisingly here, Kansas is going to be a tough team to pick in the bracket. Depending on the matchup, Kansas might even lose first round in the bracket. Playing on a neutral court, they're not great at away games. Right now, they're getting crushed against a bubble team in Oklahoma, 41-28 at halftime. So they're going to be a tough team to trust inside the bracket. There's a couple other teams that could be higher seeds that could be tough teams to trust inside the bracket. Another one who's on a hot streak at home but's been playing absolutely not great on away games is Purdue, and right now they're losing against bubble Minnesota at Minnesota 71-69 with 5 seconds left to go. So we'll see how everything lands up. Very concerned about Villanova as well. I called the game against Xavier a couple weeks ago. Xavier's on like a huge winning streak right now. They went from being dead last, tied with Providence inside the Big East, and now I have to check at Xavier's standings here because I think they're like tied for fourth right now. They went from having like a terrible conference record to winning like 5 or 6 games in a row. They just put themselves right back inside the bubble picture out of nowhere. Yep. So Xavier right now is 8-9 overall. It looks like they did lose though. They were 8-8, I think. So yeah, I wonder if that will probably affect their bubble picture at 16-14. It's tough to get into the tournament with 14 losses. Same as Indiana. Indiana basically has to win out the rest of the way in order to get into the tournament. But here we are in the SEC. 2 teams on the bubble, Alabama and Florida. Florida with a very difficult schedule, closing it out. Tomorrow night, I'll have the stream. They're playing at home in Gainesville against number 10 LSU. So that's going to be a huge game for Florida. And then the other game I'll have 2 p.m. Eastern time, Florida playing at Kentucky at Rupp Arena. So this is going to be a back-to-back test for the Florida Gators to see if they'll be able to get into the tournament in a few weeks, if they can come away with either both of those victories or one of those victories in that game. If they lose both of those, that crushes their chances. Because then they go to 9-9 inside conference play. And I think that would put them at 17-14 overall. So it'd be tough to get in there, especially with 14 losses. It's a little bit too much. I think there's been a couple teams in the past. You basically have to get an automatic bid to have like 14 losses inside a tournament. But for an at-large, that's tough. Not sure if you can do it, especially this year when you have mid-major teams in there. Oh, yeah, definitely. I've actually heard of those channels. Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. But yeah, I think I went on a few of them. I've never seen like anybody do this successfully before with like college basketball. So I'm trying to be like the first one to do it. I've seen a couple of guys do like the NFL. I've seen a few do like college football, but I've seen a couple of people do like the NBA and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a couple channels that I've seen that was like pretty cool. I know the Sports Fury has like over like 50,000 subs that they do like the NFL games, and then I think Sir Cardinal does like the NBA games and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to grow this channel throughout the tournament as we're at halftime right here. I did order like a brand new webcam a few days ago on Sunday night, so hopefully that comes in time for the tournament. It's like one of the newest webcams out in the market. It just got released like 2 weeks ago. So hopefully they'll add like a big impact here on my channel because I can't wait for that to come in. But here we are. We're at halftime. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. We're at halftime here between Ole Miss and Kentucky. What a game here between both of these teams. 39-38 right now at halftime. Going to get back to action hopefully very soon. Ole Miss coming in at number 1 in the SEC in free throw shooting percentage, shooting the ball at 77.5% from the field at inside the free throw line right now. They're currently ranked 8th in all college basketball in free throw shooting percentage. So that's what the Rebels do well this season. We look to that Kentucky Wildcats. What they do well is that they're 3rd in all college basketball in rebound margin. They have around 9.5 more rebounds than their opponents per game. They're also first in the SEC in rebounds per game as they average around 38.8 rebounds per game. So I'll be doing a couple of SEC streams throughout the week as most of the games I've been doing this season have been like ACC, Big Ten. I've done a couple Pac-12, Big East games, but here we are. I'm going like SEC strong as this is what I've got on my schedule coming up throughout this week. So tomorrow, keeping it going, number 10 LSU. They've been on a roll. They're playing at Florida at Gainesville tomorrow. So I'll have that stream 7 p.m. Eastern time, the start of that one. And then I'll be back on Saturday, Florida, once again, going at it at Rupp Arena again with Kentucky. And then closing out on Saturday, I'll have 6 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget to turn on notifications for this one. Should be a huge game once again. Duke against North Carolina. Hopefully Duke can get things back in order or so. That was a scare today against Wake Forest. I got basically a good amount of Duke fans and good amount of UNC fans on the channel as well. So looking forward to that one. North Carolina, of course. I think they won against Boston College today. It did the game against Clemson the other night. That was a nail biter right to the finish. Clemson currently right on the bubble inside that part, last 4 out. Yeah, cannot wait for tomorrow to see this LSU team. I was going over the stats today before I started calling this game, and the LSU stats, like, absolutely insane. Like, they have, I think, 4 of their players are double-digit points. Can't wait to see Tremont Waters, see what he does. I know he was injured, he didn't play, the 2 games before the last one on Saturday. He came back. I think he only scored 5 points on Saturday, but they didn't have him start. They had him on the bench because I think he was coming back from injury. But hopefully he'll be back in full tomorrow night. Cannot wait to see what he's going to have on him. He's one of the guys right now, nominations for like point guard of the year, going up with Cassius Winston for point guard of the year, John Morant from Murray State. Absolutely incredible what Murray State's done. It will be really, really sad if Murray State cannot make it into the March Madness tournament. What I really want to see is these mid-major teams being able to put 2 mid-major teams inside the March Madness tournament. I think that Belmont University from Tennessee and Murray State from Kentucky, both of those teams inside the Ohio Valley, they should be able to get in. Both of those teams have records of 26-4. Even though they're not in the power conference, both of those teams should have a chance over a team like TCU, who has a conference record of 6-11, or an Ohio State team that got absolutely blown out on Saturday by like 35 against Purdue. Here we are back to action, 39-38. And Ole Miss takes the ball past the timeline. Yeah, so Zion won't play. I don't think he's gonna play in the conference tournament, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be back for March Madness, hopefully. So hopefully I'll find out more information on that. There hasn't been much news on it, but I think they're thinking of having him just back for the tournament as Kentucky lays it in right there. Ashton Hagens going underneath the basket, taking back the lead 40-39. So Kentucky striking first here since we're back to action. Ole Miss now with the ball past the timeline. Once Zion gets in, that whole Duke team absolutely gets changed because they have size there underneath. They have one of the lead blockers in the nation. Jumper from the key. No good. Rattles out and rebounded here by Kentucky. One of the lead stealers in the nation as well. Just insane what he can do as an NBA draft pick prospect. Hopefully they'll get him back for the tournament because they'll change the whole scene of the tournament for Duke. It can make them go from because they struggled today against Wake Forest. If they don't have them in the lineup, they could be out in the round of 32 because they were having trouble scoring. They're not going to be able to get things done with Jack White in the lineup, Antonio Rankovic filling in for Zion. They need Zion back in order to make that Final Four national championship push. Here we are to the line with Kentucky. First shot goes down by Ashton Hagens and the Wildcats with a 2-point lead. The score right now, Kentucky 41, Ole Miss 39 with 18:47 left to go. As we just got started with the second half a minute ago. Second shot from the line. He sinks it by Hagens, and Kentucky with a 3-point lead. So all points in this half have been scored by Kentucky to start it off. And Ole Miss takes the left elbow jumper. No good, but the offensive rebound goes back to the Rebels. So they set it up again here into the hands of DC Davis. And it looks like we do have a foul called by the Wildcats. Already in a little bit of foul trouble early in this one for Kentucky, as they were in quite a bit of trouble against Tennessee. That's why they got behind against Tennessee so much in that game. Lost by 19. They had to sub some of their key players out of that game, and here we are back to action here. Ole Miss with the ball passing around the perimeter. Top of the key three from the outside, and they sink it down. Right there with a three ball to tie this game up. Terrence Davis letting it fly from the outside. 42 even. 18-10 left to go. Left side of the perimeter, Tyler Hero feeds it off, trying to make his move down inside the low post. PJ Washington kicks it back outside. Jumper in the key. Gets it to go by Kelvin Johnson. He's had a pretty good game tonight. 44-42. Kentucky up by 2. 17:52 left to go. They take it past the right side of the timeline. This is DC Davis for Ole Miss as the ball goes into the hands. And it's a right elbow deep jumper. Deep 2. Hit by Terrence Davis. Ties this game back at 44. Both of those guys playing really well tonight. Both of them making back-to-back buckets for Ole Miss and Kentucky. Terrence Davis and Kelvin Johnson. Kentucky now with the ball in. Oh, Tyler Hero hits it off the glass up and in. 46-44 with 17:20 left to go in the second. So, yeah, trading buckets going on right now for both of these teams. Ole Miss with the ball. They take it past the timeline. This is Brian Tyree. He passes the ball back into the hands of DC Davis. Ball is on the ground. Davis does get it back. Kentucky tried to steal it. So Ole Miss passing the ball around the perimeter, getting behind the defense and laying it up and in right there. Number 14, KJ Buffin, the freshman forward from Gainesville, Georgia. Hits that shot home off the glass, tied up at 46 once again with 16:48 left to go. Tyler Hero with the ball. He passes it top of the key and now to the left side of the perimeter. It's to Nick Richards. He passes it off. Now try to dribble inside and going up and in. Kelvin Johnson adding some more points to his resume tonight. 48-46 with 16:30 left to go. What a game. I love this back and forth action. This was how North Carolina and Clemson went. That was a really, really fun game. I like this one as well so far. Close game throughout. Kentucky up by 2. Ole Miss with the ball at the free throw circle. The feed inside, and we're above the rim cameras here trying to see what happened with 16:11 remaining. It looks like a foul committed by Kentucky as that one was right underneath the basket. Gonna update you guys with a chat. So capital K. 48, Kentucky, Ole Miss. 46. Shooting 2 at the line. First one goes down for Ole Miss. At the free throw lines, Bruce Stevens says he's an 82% free throw shooter. Second shot, he hits that as well. Tied up once again at 48. What a game between both of these teams. Kentucky now with the ball. They take it past the timeline. It's Emmanuel Quickly, and he does get it out. Right there. They back to Quickly around the three-point arc. Now they're passing around the other side of the perimeter, trying to dribble. Low post, they kick the way back inside. Baseline, jumper, no good. Rebounded by Ole Miss. Tied up at 48 with 15:45 left to go. It's Brian Tyree with the ball at the free throw circle, trying to take it in the key. Kicks the ball back outside. Top of the key three. Nothing but net. Lets it fly. Bruce Stevens knocking down the three for the Rebels. 51-48. Ole Miss back out in front. Kentucky now with the ball. Right side of the perimeter for the Wildcats. Tyler Hero puts the ball into the hands of Emmanuel Quickly. Quickly now, top of the key, feeds the ball down inside the low post jumper. PJ Washington hits that one home, nothing but net. Kentucky now down by 1. Ole Miss 51, Kentucky 50. 15:05 left to go. In regulation, Ole Miss with the ball, taking it past the right side of the timeline and almost stolen away. They do get it back. Brian Tyree with the ball, right side of the perimeter. Right elbow jumper, deep 2. He connects with it. Brian Tyree putting the Rebels up 53-50. He's the leading scorer coming into this game this season for the Rebels, averaging 18.3 points per game. That's good for a third right now in the SEC. Kentucky with the ball, trying to back his way. Low post, PJ Washington. Jumper, no good. Too strong off the glass. Fight for the rebound underneath the basket. Kentucky tried to save it, but they dished it out into the wrong hands right there. Ole Miss gets the ball back. Taking it past the timeline. Breein Tyree. And fumbling around with the ball. He does get into his hands of his teammate, trying to lay it in. They kick it back outside. Left corner of the perimeter. Now they're trying to move inside with a jumper inside a low post. They float it up there, and Kentucky nabs the ball right away. Tyler Hero pushing up tempo. Try to lay it up and in. No good. Too strong off the glass. Ole Miss with a rebound. Ole Miss up 53-50. 13:58 remaining. Three-pointer off the mark by the Rebels. And fight for the rebound. The ball goes out of bounds, and Kentucky will get it back. Man, this is, wow, intense game here between both of these teams. Good close game. It's been like this throughout. Gotta love these college basketball games with this close of a game. So right there, just updated the chat with the score. Ole Miss 53, Kentucky 50. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions throughout the end of the season, and of course, the March Madness tournament, as we got that rolling around Thursday, February 21st, and also Friday, March 21st and March 22nd. So yeah, those are both of the days. March Madness here. As we're in March right now, it's crazy how the months just fly by, but currently, we look at these team stats. Both of these teams shooting the ball really, really well from the floor. Kentucky shooting the ball at 55% from the floor. Ole Miss shooting the ball at 50% from the floor. And Ole Miss lost the last game against Arkansas. They shot the ball at 54% from the floor. Really, really well shooting, and they still lost by one. Heartbreaker the past two games for Ole Miss. This one looks like it could result either way. It looks like it's going to be close down the stretch on how this entire game's played out. I think the biggest lead in this entire game's been 6 points by either team right now, but incredible shooting going on for both of these teams. Ole Miss currently out-rebounding Kentucky 22-17, and we look to those leading scorers. Terrence Davis having quite a great night here. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for Terrence Davis leading the way. Breein Tyree also with double-digit points right now. 10 points for Ole Miss for Breein Tyree. He averages just above 18 points per game. And on the other side, Kentucky, 2 players in double-digit points. 18 points by Kelvin Johnson, having quite a night for him. Tyler Hero looking to build off of last week's game, where he had that big scoring game against Arkansas with a career-high 29 points. Tonight, he has around half of that at 15 points. So we're going to get back to action really shortly between Kentucky and Ole Miss. We're on the TV timeout right now. I'm going to update you guys on the Tennessee score. And oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Tennessee, number 5 in the nation, is outscoring Mississippi State in the second half, 19-7. So right now, Tennessee is up 50-32 against Mississippi State. So this team inside Knoxville right now for the Tennessee Vols is on an absolute roll. How about these bubble teams making it happen right now, trying to get into the tournament? Oklahoma is absolutely crushing Kansas 62-45 at this moment. Okay, so Kentucky's record is 24-5, 13-3 in the SEC, and Gonzaga is the number 1 team. They're 29-2 overall. The Gonzaga Bulldogs. They've beat every single team that Gonzaga's beat this season inside their the WCC conference. They've beat them by 10 points or more. It's just insane. Gonzaga has the largest. They had the largest win margin this season. They also score the most points per game. They average like just around, I think, 90 points per game. They're insane. So now we're back to action here. Kentucky and Ole Miss. Kentucky trying to drive to the hoop. Tyler Hero, he gets a shot rejected by Terrence Davis, who has 20 points tonight for Ole Miss, who rejected Tyler Hero. We do have a foul call with 13:38 left to go. So yeah, Gonzaga looks like they'll probably be the number 1 overall seed. All they basically have to do, they just have to, because their conference is basically done inside the WCC. All they have to basically do now is just play in their conference tournament. If they win their conference tournament, they're obviously the #1 seed, even though their strength of schedule isn't like that great compared to a team like North Carolina. So Ole Miss trying to drive inside, and they do get foul, or no, a tie up here called. The other was a Kentucky foul, but it looked like a little tie up on the play. So Ole Miss will get the ball back on the inbound with 13:28 left to go. And Ole Miss floats the ball over the top behind the perimeter. They're trying to drive inside, and too strong off the bucket. No good by the Rebels. Rebounded by Kentucky. They're taking it past in transition. Ashton Hagens backing his way to the basket. And we do have a foul call before the shot by Hagens. Yeah, Gonzaga's always been a good team every single year. Hopefully, like sometime they can, like in the future, they can like move up to like a bigger division or so. That's what I'd hope to see them. Maybe like the Pac-12 or something like that in the future. Obviously, this year isn't even ideal for the Pac-12 because they have 0 teams inside the top 25. We have like no clue who's going to even win the Pac-12 this season. It's been historically bad how bad that Pac-12 conference has been. So Ashton Hagens laid in the shot, and he actually got it up and in. So we're tied up at 53 right now between Kentucky and Ole Miss. So he went to the free throw line after he was fouled, got that one to go, and we're back to action here with 13:10 left to go in the second. We're tied up at 53. Ole Miss now with the ball. Top of the key, they feed it inside and going up and in with a basket underneath. That is KJ Buffin who gets it to go. 55-53, Ole Miss up by 2, and Buffin going to the line here for 1. Yeah, I think Gonzaga would still be that good if they move up into like a higher conference or so. I think like the more realistic option would be the Pac-12 because that's their region for them to play against teams like Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC to be in that conference. That's like the most realistic, even though there's like other conferences there that's like a tad better than the WCC, but maybe someday they'll move up to the Pac-12. There's other conferences like the Mountain West. Some of the years they have like good teams. Looks like Nevada and Utah State will probably both be in the tournament this season as the three-point shot from behind the arc goes down by Kentucky. We're tied up at 56 with 12:30 left to go. Ole Miss with the ball. Devontae Shuler takes it past the timeline. We're at the top of the key here for the Rebels. All tied up at 56. And we do have a tripping foul there. That was number 25, P.J. Washington, who just tripped Terrence Davis of Ole Miss as he was dribbling around the perimeter. So, yeah, fouls have been a big problem for Kentucky. They got in a lot of foul trouble against Tennessee on Saturday. That's where they saw a couple of their key players hit the bench, and they needed to scramble for subs to fill in, and they really fell apart in that second half because of that. But here we are again. It could play a role down the stretch in this game with fouls. Ole Miss here gets the inbound, and they're at the left side of the perimeter. Terrence Davis dribbling towards the free throw circle at the top of the key. He passes the ball now to Breein Tyree. Tyree now dribbling top of the key, trying to make his move inside. Step back deep two, left elbow jumper, no good, but a rebound on the play. But it looks like there's the offensive foul called on the rebound by number 14 of Ole Miss, KJ Buffin. So the ball will go back to Kentucky here with 12:08 left to go. Great game between both of these teams. Tied up here at 56 apiece. So it looks like, yeah, number 23, E.J. Montgomery just hit the bench right now for Kentucky. I know he was in a lot of foul trouble. He picked up 4 fouls at the end of that game against Tennessee. Most likely that's the reason why right now. I'll check the box score when we're on break, see how many fouls he has. But I remember early in the game he picked up his first. So Kentucky just drove inside and hit in the layup. So they have the 2-point lead. Going to update you guys with the chat once again. 58 Wildcats, 56 Ole Miss. We're on a TV timeout right now. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, feel free to like my videos, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions throughout the end of this season. And of course, starting March 21st, March 22nd, that whole first round of the March Madness tournament, I'll be streaming all 4 of those games that go on CBS. I'll be streaming basically the whole CBS package that goes along with that. So hopefully I'll get some good games throughout the tournament. And of course, the March Madness, less than 3 weeks away as well. National Championship will be my last game of the season on April 8th. I'll be having that. And I've been working on a video that I've been trying to edit down when I've had time. What I'm trying to do is oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'd be glad to do that. Thank you for the reference. I really appreciate it. I'm actually I'm working on like a video that after the tournament that I'm gonna post, hopefully, if it's finished. It's gonna be like the greatest comebacks of college basketball throughout like the 2019 season or so. So I've been editing it down right now. I got a couple of big comebacks that I already put in the package. I'm starting out in like the whole like timeline chronological order. So the first game with a huge comeback was all the way back on January 9th. It was Kansas State who came back by 21 points to beat West Virginia. So I got that one down in the package, and then I just finished editing the second one. It was Oregon against UCLA, where UCLA was down by 9 points with a minute left, came back and won the game. Oh yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I was planning to do like comebacks from I was doing comebacks from this season. So anything from January 2019 for college basketball and up, and then of course I'm gonna hit on the Duke Louisville comeback in that package that I'm editing as well. So I got a bunch of games that I'm gonna be doing that. But right now we're on a TV timeout with Kentucky and Ole Miss. Kentucky now with a 2-point lead against the Rebels. This game has been super duper close throughout. I think the largest lead in this game has been 6 points so far, as this game's been super duper close. If you haven't done so already, feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play live reactions throughout the season. And of course, the March Madness tournament starting March 21st on a Thursday and March 22nd. Those are the first round games after all those play-in games happen, the 16s against the 16s and the 12 against 12 play-in. So here we are back to action. Ole Miss with the inbound, 11:42 left to go. Ole Miss passes the timeline. We thank you for joining me. They're passing the ball around the right side of the perimeter. Lob pass over the top. Ole Miss with the ball. Trying to look for the man inside, and we do have a foul called by Kentucky. So that's the 5th foul called by the Wildcats right now. Going to update you guys with the score in the chat. Kentucky's up 58-56 against Ole Miss right now. The last 2 games for Ole Miss have been heartbreakers. They lost those last 2 games by a combined 3 points. Looks like Kentucky did foul Ole Miss under the basket. It was a shooting foul, so the Rebels are going to the line here for 2. So I just updated the score here. Number 12, Ole Miss. This is Bruce Stevens, who will be shooting 2 at the free throw line. Hits his first one. He's an 82% shooter this season. The score now is Kentucky 58, Ole Miss 57. And here we are. Second shot at the free throw line by Stevens. Knocks that one down. This Ole Miss team is shot the ball extremely well from the free throw line all season long. They rank 8th in all college basketball in free throw shooting. They're also 1st in the SEC in free throw shooting. They coming into this game shooting the ball at 77.5% from the free throw line. Kentucky trying to dribble inside, and PJ Washington hits it off the window up and in, and they're up now 60-58. Kentucky with a 2-point lead. Ole Miss now with the ball. They take it past the timeline. Devontae Shuler takes it past the logo at the right side of the perimeter. He's dribbling towards the left elbow. Kicks the ball back out top. Left wing 3 from the outside. No good. It bounced right off the rim. Rebounded by Kentucky. And we do have a foul on the play. It looks like, Looks like Kentucky will get the ball there on the tie-up. Two players really getting it into it after in the action right there between Ole Miss and Kentucky, but Kentucky will get the ball with a tie-up. The Wildcats are up 60-58 with 10:54 left to go in action. So here we are back to action. Kentucky with the ball, right side of the perimeter, dribbling with it, and they feed it down inside. P.J. Washington, and he hits the basket up and in for Washington right there. Coming into this game, P.J. Washington's the leading scorer for Kentucky, averaging just below 15 points per game. Hits that shot, 62-58. Kentucky up by 4. Ole Miss passes the timeline with the ball, right side of the perimeter for the Rebels. They pass the ball at the right corner. Now back to the right wing of the perimeter, moving the ball around the outside of the three-point line. Now they're trying to take it inside. Breein Tyree floats up the shot, hits the rim short, rebounded by Tyler Hero of Kentucky. The Wildcats take it past the timeline. Ashton Higgins into his hands. He passes it off. Right wing of the perimeter, Tyler Hero passes it now. Top of the key here with Ashton Higgins. Higgins back to Hero, right side of the perimeter. Feeds it down, low post, P.J. Washington, and gets denied by the right side of the backboard. Ole Miss 2-on-1 transition, and going into the bucket up and in off the glass. Number 2, Devontae Shuler hits it home, the sophomore from Irmo, South Carolina, with a bucket. 2-point lead here for Kentucky. Tyler Hero with the ball. Passes it off to Washington. Back to Hero. Deep three. Oh, hits it from the outside by Tyler Hero. That was a 24-foot shot from the top of the key by Tyler right there. Kentucky with a 5-point lead. This game has been so close. I don't think we've ever seen a 5-point lead in like quite a bit of time. It's been back and forth, like 2-point lead, 3-point lead, but I haven't seen 5 since like the first half in this one. I think the largest lead by either team tonight's been 6. So here we are going to update you guys with a chat. Kentucky's up by 5. 65-60. Ole Miss now gets the ball back on the inbound. Ole Miss takes it past the timeline, dribbling towards the left side of the perimeter, and now they're dribbling towards the right side of the perimeter. They're going to take it inside. They kick the ball back outside. Ole Miss with it. Ooh, they almost launched it over the head of one of their players out of bounds. But Ole Miss trying to take it inside past defenders, losing control of the ball, stolen by Kentucky. Tyler Hero's going to set up the offense. He puts the ball into the hands of Ashton Higgins, passes it now, try to dribble baseline. Kelvin Johnson tried to lay it up and in baseline, but too strong off the basket. Rebounded here by Ole Miss. 8:40 left to go. Rebels down by 5. They have the ball. Top of the key now. They're trying to dribble inside, laying it up, and then he goes past the entire Kentucky defense. Breein Tyree with 2 more points, 65-62. Kentucky up by 3. Huge bucket by Tyree to cut the Wildcat lead here to 3. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Kentucky now with the ball, trying to dribble low post. Washington puts up the shot up and in by PJ. The leading scorer coming into this game for Kentucky. He averages just below 15 points per game. So if you're just joining us, Kentucky is up 67-62. We have 8 minutes left to go. Ole Miss now with the ball. They take it past the timeline. Ole Miss in some serious heartbreak the past 2 games. Lost by 2 with 4 seconds left against Tennessee last Wednesday. They lost by 1 on Saturday against Arkansas at Arkansas, where they hit the game-winning layup with 6 seconds remaining. Ole Miss just took a 3-pointer, just missed it. They kicked the ball back outside on the offensive rebound and hit the 3-point shot. 2-point game. Here we are. Kentucky 67, Ole Miss 65. Pushing tempo. Kentucky took a 3-point shot. Tyler Hero, no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Kentucky. And we'll go back to Ole Miss. Oh, man, I love this game. It's been close throughout the entire thing. This has been a great game. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for the love for the stream. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long, finishing up this season to college basketball. And, of course, the March Madness tournament, less than 3 weeks away here. So right now, we have a great game on our hands. I'm going to update you guys with a chat here. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Feel free to like my videos, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions throughout the end of the season and, of course, throughout the March Madness tournament. And throughout that tournament, you'll be looking at probably like 4 streams a day on that first round Thursday, first round Friday. And I'll be doing the streams off of whatever's going on CBS here since I don't have the cable package with me. So it'll be all CBS. And then, of course, Final Four, National Championship, Sweet 16, round of 32 will be in there as well. Whatever games fall on CBS will be the ones that I do. So keeping it up with the SEC here, I'll be doing another stream tomorrow as this one's huge for Florida. Florida currently on the bubble as a number 9 seed in the latest ESPN bracketology bracket projections. They'll be playing against number 10 LSU tomorrow night. I'll have that stream for you guys. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern time. So right after this game, I'll create an event for that since I got the stats to the LSU and Florida players right before this game. And then if you're a Kentucky fan, feel free to join me again. I'll have that stream for you guys 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday when they take on the Florida Gators. And don't forget about Duke against North Carolina. I'll have that one for you guys 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'm not sure about the upcoming schedule next week because it's conference tournament week. So I haven't heard anything from what conference tournament games will be airing until they set up the schedule for that. But if you haven't done so already, feel free to like my videos, share and subscribe to my channel. Also, let me know who you're a fan of in the chat. If you just like college basketball in general, or if you're just like if you're a Kentucky Wildcat fan, or if you're an Ole Miss Rebel fan, let me know in the chat. How about this? I'm telling you guys, do not bank on Kansas in the March Madness tournament here. They're getting absolutely crushed against Oklahoma tonight. Oklahoma playing at home in Norman on the bubble with an 18-11 record. And they're demolishing number 13 Kansas right now, 71-49. This is a Kansas team that has a road record of 3-7 this season. They lost their leading three-point shooter, LaGerald Vick, throughout like the end of January. Oh, Duke. Wow. Well, Duke tonight, they won by 1 point against Wake Forest. I was shocked by that outcome of that game. I couldn't believe that they beat Wake Forest by 1 point, but at least they got the win in there right there. But yeah, they're just a totally different team without Zion. They just like when Zion's not in there, they have to have like an average player basically just like going there off the bench with like very little experience, like Jack White or Javin DeLauria, Antonio Rankovic, like a non-impact player that's filling in for Zion. Is nothing big. Here we go. Back to the action here. And Kentucky got the playing defense here. So, yeah, Ole Miss got the inbound. They have the ball now. Right side of the perimeter for the Rebels. Passing it off. Right corner 3. And the ball looked like it might have been tipped as Blake Hinson took the 3-point shot for Ole Miss. Missed it. Rebounded by Kentucky. Kentucky with a 2-point lead with 6:48 left to go. Tyler Hero at the right side of the perimeter. Passes the ball here to Kelvin Johnson. Left elbow with the ball, passes it, top of the key to P.J. Washington. Trying to drive low post. Washington puts up the shot, rattles out. But Washington is fouled, and P.J. will go to the line for 2. So Kentucky will be shooting 2 at the free throw line with their leading scorer, P.J. Washington. The Wildcats are up by 2, 67-65. Updating the score here for you guys in the chat. If you haven't done so already, you're welcome to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing this throughout the... yeah. My channel is called Behind the Arc Basketball. It's on YouTube. So 68-65. Right now, I'm going to update you guys with the chat. I'll type it in here. Second shot from the line. No good. It rattled out on the second shot. So so the one I'm posting from right now is my channel, Behind the Arc Basketball. You can find me on YouTube. And it looks like Ole Miss had the ball off the rebound and they got the ball. Yeah, they threw it out of bounds. So it's a turnover by Ole Miss. Kentucky gets the ball back here for the score 68-65. Looks like we do have a little bit of a timeout with 6:21 left to go. So a stoppage in time here. Going to update you guys with the score once again. 68 for Kentucky, 65 Ole Miss. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been getting that a lot from people. Everybody enjoy me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I actually invested like in a new one of those webcams, like the newest one out on the market. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it because it's ordering right now. It's in the shipping process, so hopefully, I'll be able to get it for the March Madness tournament. Hopefully, it's one of those like new Logitech webcams that just came out like 2 weeks ago. That's brand new. Here we are back to action. Kentucky with the ball. We have 6:15 left to go. They're at the left side of the perimeter. They pass the ball to PJ Washington, backing his way, low post jumper, hits it for Kentucky. They're up by 5 now, 70-65. 6:03 left to go. Ole Miss with the ball. The Rebels take it past the timeline. At the top of the key, they pass the ball to the right wing of the perimeter. Terrence Davis, who's had a huge night, he passes the ball off. Now they're trying to dribble low post, spin move inside, jumper over the top, no good. Hits the rim short, rebounded by the Wildcats. Putting the ball back in transition, past the timeline. It's Emmanuel quickly here. Kentucky with 5:38 left to go in this game is up 70-65. The Wildcats have the ball, top of the key to the free throw circle with PJ Washington, and again, Washington is fouled. As he tried to push the ball around the perimeter, he was stripped of the ball right there by number 14 of Ole Miss, KJ Buffin, who did get a piece of his arm, so Ole Miss picking up the foul. Not in the bonus yet, so Ole Miss has 6 fouls as a team, so one more foul, and Kentucky will shoot at the bonus from the line, but just not yet. So here we are, Kentucky up by 5. Update you guys with a chat here and the score. And I'll be back tomorrow if you guys like some more college basketball. Number 10 LSU playing at Florida for that game. Florida closing out the season against 2 top 10 teams, number 10 LSU and number 6 Kentucky. I'll have both of those streams actually for you guys. So it'll be interesting. First time covering both of those teams tomorrow. So here we are at the line. Ole Miss just fouled Kentucky. So they just picked up their 7th foul as a team by the Rebels. So Kentucky now shooting 2 at the line. This is Nick Richards shooting at the free throw line. Hits his first one. 71-65. I think this is the largest, tied for the largest lead of this game. 6 points by either team. I don't think a team's led by 7 points in this one. Nick Richards has a chance to do so. He does. 71-60, 72-65 now. Kentucky up. And Ole Miss with the ball. 7-point lead here for the Wildcats. 5:10 remaining. Right wing three from the outside. No good. Hits the front part of the iron by Terrence Davis. And rebounded by Kentucky. Yeah, definitely. This would be like a pretty cool announcer package for that happening. My actual day job is that I do like voiceovers for commercials, and I actually work as like a radio production director, but I've never done like sports broadcasting. So I've always like wanted to do it and like get into it. Shot taken from the field right there. Left elbow shot. No good by Kentucky. Rebounded by Ole Miss. With 4:36 left to go, Kentucky up 72-65. Ole Miss jumper. Free throw circle. Hits it. We got ourselves a ball game here with both of these teams. Ole Miss just cannot go away right now. Close game with 4:20 left to go. Kentucky 72, Ole Miss 67, and the ball was almost stolen. Kentucky does get it back, though. That was a lucky break for the Wildcats. Ashton Hagans taking it in between defenders, and Hagans getting fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. Ashton Hagans is a 74% free throw shooter this season. So Kentucky at the line, shooting 2 once again with their point guard, Ashton Hagans. We have 4:13 left to go. Hagans, first shot from the line, hits it. Yeah, Florida right now is one of those teams, right? They were like on the bubble throughout like most of the season, basically, and then they pulled themselves off the bubble with like a 5-point victory. No, winning streak of 5. Yeah, winning streak of 5 in a row. But Florida right now, they have 2 tough games to close out the season. They have a 17-12 record right now. If they lose both of those games against LSU and Kentucky, it's going to be even tougher to get into the tournament. It'll be tough to get in with 14 losses. That's for sure. It's very, very tough to be in at large to get 14 losses and be in the tournament. Just updated the score. Kentucky with Ashton Hagans hit both of the shots from the free throw line. Here we are back to action. Ole Miss with the ball. Under 4 left to play in this game. Let's see if Ole Miss can make this a game. They're driving baseline of the perimeter. Kicks the ball back outside. Step back 3. Right wing shot. No good. Short off the mark. Rebounded by the Wildcats as Emmanuel quickly grabbed the rebound. The ball now into the hands of Ashton Hagans. Takes it past the Ole Miss logo. Passes the ball now to the right side of the perimeter. It's to the hands of Kelvin Johnson. He's had quite the game tonight for the Wildcats. And now into the hands of Hagans, dribbling towards the back of the front court, towards the left corner. Now trying to dribble inside, kicks the ball back outside, trying to go baseline with it. Too strong off the glass, and that was not good for Kentucky right there, as they fought for the rebound, and 2 of their teammates fought for the rebound together, and they lost control of the ball, and Ole Miss got it back. Ole Miss dribbling to the basket, and the ball goes out of bounds right there. So I'm going to update you guys with the score. Once again, close game here, 73-67 with 3:10 remaining. We do have a timeout on the court. We'll be back to action momentarily here. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions throughout the end of the season, and of course, the March Madness tournament. If you like, spread the word and message about my channel as well. But right now, we'll look into some of these team stats. Kentucky doing a pretty incredible job, lights out tonight, shooting the ball from the field. 56% shooting the ball, completely different from that game against Tennessee where they shot the ball from the field. That was 32%. I believe that was a season low for Kentucky. So Ole Miss, they've been kept in this game surprisingly. One of the surprising stats I'm seeing here is coming into this game, Kentucky ranks 3rd in the nation in all college basketball in rebound margin. They average around 9.5 rebounds more than their opponents. But this is weird because right now Ole Miss is out-rebounding Kentucky 33-26. So the team that usually out-rebounds everybody right now is getting out-rebounded by Ole Miss by 7 rebounds with 3:10 remaining in this game. So quite a stat right there. As we look at other stuff going on, we look at the leading scorers. Kelvin Johnson with 21 points leading the way for Kentucky tonight. They have 4 players in double-digit points. 18 points tonight by Tyler Hero, building off that career-high 29-point game where he shot 9 for 10 from the field last week against Arkansas, where they won by 4 points. P.J. Washington with 13 points tonight, and Ashton Hagans with 10 points. We'll look to Ole Miss. Let's see, Terrence Davis with 20 points right now. He's been stalled at 20 points for quite a bit, and Breon Tyree almost matching his season average right now with 17 points. He averages around 18 points per game, as Breon Tyree for Ole Miss ranks 3rd right now in the conference in points per game scored. I believe 1st in the conference in the SEC for points per game scored is Grant Williams for Tennessee, who is lights out against Kentucky. I think he averages around like 19.5 points per game. Since we're on the TV timeout, I'm actually going to get you guys some score updates here. Tennessee ranked 5th now in all college basketball. They're blowing out Mississippi State 68-50. So with this blowout happening that Tennessee is winning right now, there's no way for it to be possible that Kentucky can win the SEC regular season title because of Tennessee right now blowing out Mississippi State. Coming into this game, Kentucky needed Tennessee to lose both of their games to Mississippi State and Auburn in order to win that regular season title, and they needed some help from Florida to beat LSU or something like that in order to have that title. And then Kentucky would have to win this game against Ole Miss and against Florida for that to happen. So here we are at the free throw line. First shot went down for Ole Miss. Second shot from the line, and he hits it. We got ourselves a 4-point game here. Yeah, yeah, PJ Washington right now, he's coming into this game. He's the leading scorer. Oh, the two-handed slam right there by Kentucky. Nick Richards taking a baseline and jams it down 75-69. Yeah, PJ Washington's been quite an incredible player this year. He has double-digit points in 19 out of his 29 games this season. He's led this Kentucky team throughout basically most of the season. It's basically him, the sophomore, and then everybody else in the team's basically freshmen on the squad. So I'm going to update you guys with a chat here in the score. 75 for Kentucky, 69 Ole Miss. And it looks like Ole Miss was just fouled, so they'll go to the line to shoot 2 here. And this is number 4, Brian Tyree, who will be shooting 2 at the line again for the Rebels. So Ole Miss hasn't been able to go away tonight. The largest lead in this game has been a 7-point lead by Kentucky. That's it. As here we are at the line. 75 Kentucky, 69 Ole Miss. Ole Miss shooting 2 with Brian Tyree hits the first. 75-70. 5-point game. Back to the line for his second one's Tyree. He's an 83% free throw shooter on the season. Third in the conference in points per game. Nails that one down as well. Perfect 2 for 2 from the line that time. 75-71. Kentucky now with the ball up by 4. 2.5 left to go in this game. Kentucky, they pass the ball off left side of the perimeter. Washington with it, looking for somebody who's open. 16 on the shot clock. Washington puts it into the hands here of Ashton Hagans. Hagans now, top of the key for Kentucky, backing out towards the Ole Miss logo. He passes the ball to Tyler Hero. He feeds it inside to Washington. The ball gets tipped, but it goes back into the hands of Washington. Kicks the ball back outside. Kentucky trying to dribble inside. Hagans puts up the shot up and in by Ashton Hagans, but the refs say right before that shot clock violation on it. Wow. Is there? Yep. Shot clock violation on that one or what? 75-71. Let's see. I wish the stream I had a replay right here so I could see what's going on. I'm on the behind the rim camera. Yeah, so he got the bucket in, but it was right after the shot clock. So the ball go back to Ole Miss. So Ole Miss now takes the top of the key 3. No good. Hits the front rim. Rebounded by Kentucky with 1:50 left to go. Wildcats with the ball. They're up by 4. Ashton Hagans with it as he passes the Ole Miss logo. Dribbling towards the left side. And the ball stolen by Ole Miss. Ole Miss now, they wait to set up the offense here at the left corner and trying to dribble baseline inside. And no foul on that play underneath the basket. Ole Miss does get the ball back here. The score is Kentucky 75, Ole Miss 71. We have 1:27 left to go, and looks like a timeout has been taken on the court by Kermit Davis, head coach of Ole Miss. So I'm going to update you guys with the score here in the chat. If you haven't done so already, feel free to like my video, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions all season long, and of course, into the March Madness tournament with college basketball games. So stay in the know here with Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Just getting you guys going with my next couple streams. I'll be back tomorrow night. Crucial game for the Florida Gators. We're keeping it here with the SEC games tomorrow night. 7 p.m. Join me if you like on my stream. Number 10 LSU plays at Gainesville against Florida. I'll be having that stream. And then if you're a Kentucky Wildcat fan, feel free to join me again for the next game. That's 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday as Kentucky hosts Florida at Rupp Arena. I'll have that one for you guys. And then I'll be back 6 p.m. Eastern time with a ACC action. Duke going up against North Carolina. That should be a huge game as well. And, of course, getting you guys going throughout the March Madness tournament. So feel free to like my videos, share and subscribe to my channel, play-by-play and live reactions, getting you going through the March Madness tournament starting on March 21st and March 22nd with those first round games in the round of 64. We'll see who's the teams who get upset right now. But this game's been close. Kentucky 75, Ole Miss 71. I think the largest lead has been Kentucky by 7 points. We're at a TV timeout here, but we're going to get back to action really, really shortly in this one. I haven't made any videos yet. I do live streams, but yeah, after the tournament, I'm thinking about doing some videos here. I was explaining earlier that I'm thinking about doing a video. I'm cutting it up together right now, like editing a video about like the greatest college basketball comeback. So I'm gonna launch that one right after the tournament is done. So I'll be doing some like video editing after that's done. It'll take me time to do it though, because I don't have the Adobe Premiere at my house. Or so whenever I see my girlfriend on the weekend, she lets me use her like Adobe Premiere software. So I've been like editing some of like the basketball videos and stuff. And once I get that whole package together, I'm going to put together, hopefully after the national championship game, I'll do the greatest college basketball comebacks from January 2019 all the way through the end of this season with the very last game of the tournament. So we're getting back to action, hopefully very, very soon between both of these teams right now. What a game here in SEC action. Kentucky and Ole Miss with 1:27 left to go. Yeah, I've been working on that package. So I put together the comeback. Kansas State back in January came back. It was a school record 21 points they were down against West Virginia. They came back and won. And then I put together Oregon against UCLA. That UCLA was down by 9 points with a minute left against Oregon, came back and won in overtime. Here we are back to action. Ole Miss had a chance. They couldn't hit the bucket. Kentucky got the rebound. 1:08 left to go. Kentucky with the ball. Ashton Hagans at the edge of the Ole Miss logo, passing the ball off. Left wing of the perimeter here. Kelvin Johnson. He passes the ball off to Hero. He feeds it inside to P.J. Washington. Ooh, tie up on the play. What they say? With 56.3 seconds. Yep. Tie up on the play, but they say it's a Kentucky ball. So the refs roll that Kentucky gets possession arrow. So they'll get to inbound it with 56.3 seconds left to go. Kentucky is up by 4, 75-71. They pass the ball out to the back of the front court. Deep three, Tyler Hero. No good. Off the mark and rebounded by Ole Miss with 48 seconds remaining. Ole Miss really needs to drive to the court. They're wasting too much time now. 43 seconds remaining. They pass the timeline. They're setting up the offense. Too much time. Bree and Tyree kicks the ball back out, passing around the perimeter. Right corner three. No good from the outside by the Rebels. Rebounded by Kentucky, and Ole Miss has to foul with 33 seconds left to go. So I'm going to update you guys with the score here in the chat. Huge rebounds by Kentucky that might have just sealed this game if they're able to go to the line and shoot their free throws. So here we are at the free throw line. This is number 3, Kelvin Johnson. He's a 72% free throw shooter. Hits his first. So Kentucky is up by 5 right now, 76-71. Second shot from the line. Kelvin, no good. Bounces off the iron, rebounded by Ole Miss here. Just updated the chat here with a score. Ole Miss now with the ball. Left wing three from the perimeter. No good. Rattled out. Offensive rebound. Put back up and in. Number 3, Terrence Davis right there doing the favors for Ole Miss. Timeout called by Kermit Davis for the Rebels. Wow, what a game here. Not done yet. 76-73 with 20 seconds even left to go on the clock with a timeout called. So I'm going to update you guys with the score once again. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to like my videos, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions throughout the end of the season. And, of course, stay tuned for the March Madness tournament. Less than 3 weeks away. We'll see what happens this season with the upsets or what goes on. Looking at some of these mid-major schools, hopefully from the Ohio Valley, hopefully I'm rooting for Murray State and Belmont University from Tennessee, both of those teams to make it in from the Ohio Valley, because they're definitely deserving to do so over a team like TCU or so that has a record of 6-11 in their conference. More deserving of them, more deserving than an Ohio State team that got blown out by like 35 on Saturday against Purdue. So hopefully they'll put in mid-majors in there, and two of them from conferences like the Ohio Valley with Belmont and Murray State, both of those teams with records of 26-4, because that's just not fair. If you put a team in the NIT with like a 26 and say if one of them loses in the finals, they're going to finish up with a record of like 28-5. They should definitely be worthy of the tournament. I think, honestly, John Morant's been absolutely incredible this season. Murray State could go all the way to like the Elite Eight or Final Four. They're that good. They haven't played anybody good. This is their chance to show them. Here we are, back to action. Kentucky trying to inbound. 20 seconds remaining, and looks like Kentucky will call the timeout here. So they didn't even get a chance to inbound. So John Calipari talking things over here on the timeout. I'm going to go through the box score here with you guys. Let's see who the leading scorers for this game has been. Kentucky doing really well, chipping in points, including players in it. Kelvin Johnson leading the team tonight for the Wildcats, 22 points tonight. Right behind him, Tyler Hero, double-digit points with 18 points as well. PJ Washington with 13, and Ashton Hagans with 10 points. So they have 4 players right now for the Wildcats in double-digit points. Oh, how about Ole Miss here? They have 2 players with above 20 points. Terrence Davis with 22 points, and it looks like Bree and Tyree right now is 21 points on the night. So we're going to get back to action after this timeout called. We still have 20 seconds remaining. The score is Kentucky 76, Ole Miss 73. Going back to action really shortly here, as Selection Sunday happens on Sunday, March 17th, as we'll see who goes into the tournament and who gets into the NIT. Here we are, back to action. They do give the ball into Tyler Hero. Ole Miss still has to foul, and they do with 17.3 seconds remaining. A lot of bumping going on right there by the Rebels trying to take that ball away from Tyler Hero, but they couldn't. So Tyler Hero, who is one of the best, or actually the best free throw shooter in the game. He ranks first in all college basketball in free throw shooting percentage, shooting the ball at 93% from the charity stripe this season, is at the line. The score is Kentucky 76, Ole Miss 73, 17.3 seconds left, and he hits it. 77-73. Tyler Hero hit his first. Here's his second one. Make it 78. Hit them both. 5-point lead for the Wildcats. Ole Miss now takes it past the timeline. 12 seconds remaining. Trying to look for a shot. Too much time dribbling the ball. 8 seconds left. Top of the key 3. Oh, he sinks it with 6.7 left to go. A huge shot from the outside. Number 3, Terrence Davis with a huge shot. 78-76. Kentucky inbounds. Double team. Trap set up, and they do foul with 5.9 left to go. That was a huge shot there from the outside by Ole Miss. So here we are at the free throw line once again with Emmanuel Quickly. He's an 82% free throw shooter. So we'll see what happens here, as Kentucky will be shooting 2 at the line. Looks like John Calipari's discussing some things over right now with his team as he hits his first one from the line. 79-76. The first shot goes down for Emmanuel Quickly. Ole Miss with no timeouts as well. Kentucky with 2. Second shot from the line goes down 80-76. Ole Miss has to inbounds. 4 seconds remaining. Sloppy inbounds. They need, it's a 4-point play they're looking for. They can't get it. They airball it at the buzzer. Kentucky coming away with a win. 80-76, the Wildcats closing it out with a huge win. Going to update you guys with a score once again. This game has just gone final. Kentucky, 4-point victors over Ole Miss in this one. Great game throughout. This game it was basically close throughout the entire game. But yeah, great game to watch throughout both of these teams. So yeah, Kentucky improving to 25-5 overall. Right now, they're number 6 in the nation and 14-3 in the SEC. So Tennessee won today, so that means that Kentucky will not be able to win the SEC regular season title, but anything can happen in the conference tournament, and that's still up for grabs next week. So the Kentucky Wildcats, 4-point victors in this one. The Ole Miss Rebels dropping to 19-11 overall, 9-8 in conference play. That just about does it for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me in on my stream. My next game will be tomorrow night. It'll be back with another SEC game. Number 10 LSU taking on the Florida Gators. Join me for that one, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'll be back with more Kentucky basketball. Number 6 Kentucky hosting the Florida Gators at Rupp Arena, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday afternoon. And I'll be back for the 6 p.m. game on Saturday as well, Duke against North Carolina. But that basically does it for tonight. The Kentucky Wildcats, 4-point victors in this one against the Ole Miss Rebels, as this has been a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to like my videos, share, and subscribe to my channel. This has been another presentation of Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in tonight, and have a nice night, everybody.